You're listening to the One Man Show Network.
Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
Hey everyone, welcome to the MMA Fight Picks podcast. I am your host, Aaron Weinbaum, and today we are picking fights for Cormier versus Miocic 2, and something disastrous has happened with my notes all of a sudden, but I'm going to try to recover those real quick before I get into it. I am on, hopefully if this is working out, I am on Periscope and YouTube, so if you are on YouTube, feel free to please hit subscribe. This is interactive, so please leave your comments, and I'll try to get to those as well before it all ends. I'm having trouble, like I said, just a little bit of trouble with the live stream here, but it is what it is. This, of course, always happens here, but yeah, I just totally lost all my notes, and this is interesting because this is what happens when you go live. So I'm going to try to do it old school here. You know what? I got him. I got it. I figured it out. See, it wasn't so bad after all. Thank goodness for technology. So, of course, we're back at the Apex. This is the smaller cage, which normally I wouldn't say makes a difference, but it very well could make a difference with Miocic and Cormier. I'll get into that in a minute, so let me know what you think there. Of course, you may notice the camera's a little different. I am in the One Man Show Network Studio South. So this is the office location because I'm trying to help out my father figure out some things with his now defunct radio show, if that makes sense. So first up, at 155 pounds, this is a really good fight here. Jim Miller at 155 pounds versus Vinc Pichel. Man, I like this fight. I do. This is kind of old school versus new school here. Vinc, of course, a friend of the podcast. When he fought Roberts, he actually came on the podcast and helped pick his own fight, which was pretty monumental there. But let's see what's up here. First up, Jim Miller looked very impressive against Roberts, who just happens to be the common opponent of both men beating Roberts in their last match. Of course, Jim Miller made quick work of him with an armbar. Vinc Pichel, on the other hand, it was a unanimous decision. Jim Miller looked really, really good in that fight. Hasn't been the most consistent fighter. He has battled Lyme disease. I think he's doing better with that as well. We'll see. Before that, he has a decision loss to Scott Holtzman's, wins over Clay Guida, Jason Gonzalez, a loss to Charles Oliveira. Actually got submitted by Charles Oliveira in a fight I picked Jim Miller to win. I underestimated, I guess, Charles's ground game there. So that's on me, I guess. Let's take a look at Vinc. Before he fought Roberts, he got submitted by Gregor Gillespie. I haven't seen that guy fight in a long time. That was way back in June 2018, but lots and lots of wins before that. Silva, Brown, Garrett Whitley. So, I don't know. This is kind of tough for me to pick. I know that this is kind of short notice for Pichel, so it's a bigger weight cut for him. I think he had to lose maybe 20 pounds in a week, perhaps, or 2 weeks. Jim Miller's not such a tough cut. He's definitely been the more active of the two. But, I'm going to go with the bigger, stronger Vinc Pichel here. Hopefully he stays out of these situations. He can keep it on the feet. He can grind it or whatever. And I got Pichel here. Beating Jim Miller. Next up, John Dodson versus Merab Dvalishvili. Gosh darn it, Merab's a big fan of the Iaquinta Realty Twitter account. However, he's going up against the much more experienced John Dodson. Let's just take a look at Dodson here. Possibly. Yeah, there you go. Just beat Nathaniel Wood. Before that, he has losses to the tops of the 135-pound division. Piotr Yan, now the championship. Jimmy Rivera has a win over Pedro Munoz, a loss to Marlon Arias, but that was a split decision, and Marlon's no joke. he's always on the short list of the contenders. Win over Eddie Winland. But let's take a look at Merab here. I mean, I think John's going to be more of a problem to take down than Merab's past opponents. Gustavo Lopez, I know he took that fight on short notice. Casey Kenny, Brad Katona, Terrion Ware. He does have a loss to Ricky Simone, but that was kind of one of those deals where I don't think he was quite tapped, but it is what it is. And then a split decision against Frankie Sands. But I think I'm not, as much as I love Merab, I think he's certainly a future champion someday. I think that experience is going to show a factor here, and I think that ultimately this will be good for Merab. He's talking about going down to 125 pounds anyway if Aljamain fights for the belt. So interesting, but I hope for Merab to win this fight, but I think I got to go with the experience of John Dodson here. All right, next. This is not even the co-main event. This is crazy. Junior Dos Santos versus Josino Rozenstruik. Dos Santos, I think his last fight was a loss against Curtis Blades, TKO, a loss against Nagano. Ugh, that was hard to watch. Before that, he does have a win over Derek Lewis. Hit him in the. He says he likes to hit fat guys in the belly, so he did that to Lewis. Tai Tuivasa, Liga Ivanov. But he has lost 2-0, and then you got Rozenstruik. He went up against Ngannou last, and he got starched, man. And, it's just kind of what happens. You don't want to trade it out with Francis Ngannou. So, interesting there. Wins over Alistair Overeem besides that. That was a last-second punch there in a fight that Alistair could have just bicycled away and won easily. Andre Arlovski knocked him out. Alan Crowder knocked him out. Man, I think this is new school versus old school. And, if Dos Santos keeps this a technical fight, kind of like unlike Overeem did at the last of their fight, I think he wins his fight. But I don't know what the odds are on this. But, man, we'll see what Rozenstruik learned after Ngannou, but you're never the same after that first big knockout. So I'm going to go Junior here. This is the co-main event. Sean O'Malley at 135 pounds versus Cheeto Marlon Vera. O'Malley yet to lose. O'Malley has not lost a fight yet. And he just starched Eddie Winland. He TKO'd Quinones, Andre Sukamouth, decision. And those are the highest caliber fighters he's fought, and by far Vera is going to be his toughest test. But Vera is no joke. He is coming off a loss to Song Yadong, but it was a hell of a fight. It's got wins over Andre Uel, Nolan Hernandez, Frankie Sands. But I am going to go the young buck here, Sean O'Malley. I think this guy, for as goofy he may come off, I think this guy is super serious in what he does, and I like him to win this fight. So there you go. All right, now here we go. The main event of the evening. Stipe Miocic, Daniel Cormier. The only people they fought in the last few years are each other. So, of course, Cormier losing to Stipe that last fight in the fourth round, in a fight that he was winning, took some body shots, abandoning his wrestling. Before that, he beat him. Cormier beat Stipe in their first fight, kind of starts him in that first round there. You got, look at Stipe here. Beats Francis Ngannou, beats Junior Dos Santos, beats Alistair Overeem, beats Verdun, beats Arlovski, beats Mark Hunt. Hadn't lost really since 2014 against Junior Dos Santos, and in a fight that if it were three rounds, he would have won. Now, Cormier, what do you say about this guy? He's Mr. All-American here. Before the Stipe fight, he beats Derek Lewis, beats Stipe, beats Uzdemir at 205. No contest, John Jones. But it was, let's face it was a KO loss. That was 205 pounds. That was John Jones. Anthony Johnson, Anderson Silva. Okay, but Gustafsson in a split decision. But I don't know, man. This is so hard to pick. I know that Stipe says this smaller cage doesn't matter, but this is where Cormier's dirty. Like, he's got the smaller area to work with. He'll clinch you. He'll try to wrestle you. He'll get you against that cage, and without the space, without, I guess, Stipe trying to create distance, that's tough for me to pick. But I think I like Cormier in this fight. I think this smaller cage does it for him. So that's it. We've picked the fight, so sorry if the comments weren't coming in. And until next time, hello.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.